Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Urban drama. Starting from Zhu Suosuo. Golden years, love apartment, 30 years only, sadness flows back, little joy, joy song. Traversing into the world of film and television, becoming the cousin of Zhu Suosuo, Luo Jiaming, starts by hyping up Zhu Suosuo. Jiang Nansun. I am the lock's best friend. Gu Jia, don't turn back, I'm Xu Huanshan. Wang Manni. Do you think my silk stockings with letters look good? Chu Xiao Xiao. Just draw a map, you must go to Longmen Grottos and mark the desert on the map. Gu Xinxiang said, so love is like this, I'll eat it all. Tang Xiaomi. Humph, Jiaming, I'm a rabbit police officer today. When I learned that my father's younger brother was named Luoshan. Luo Jiaming. I don't eat beef. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Beginning of Journey. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Magic City, a world. Renowned bustling city. This oriental metropolis, full of money and prosperity, has a beautiful name called the City of Never Nights. The meaning is that in this brightly lit city, you rarely see the existence of night. Or rather, the people here no longer have the concept of night. The street lights were incredibly dazzling, illuminating the originally pitch-black night-like daytime streets. Although it is night, the streets of Magic City are still crowded with vehicles. In the crowded traffic flow, a yellow electric motorcycle with small lights swaying left and right constantly shuttles, attracting the attention of many men. What attracted them was not the electric motorcycle, but the girl sitting in the back row, wearing a helmet and a red dress. The girl's arms were like white jade, embracing the bespectacled man who was gripping the car handle in front of her. The slender waist and delicate face have attracted countless men to watch over. The helmet only covers the hair. What's the use of this Mercedes-Benz? I have, so what about this company? Not long after, the yellow electric motorcycle stopped at the entrance of a popular hot pot restaurant. Look, we're here. They're talking about this hot pot restaurant. Wearing a pair of glasses, Luo Jiaming looked somewhat dazed and glanced at the name of the hot pot restaurant. Turning his head with a somewhat shy expression, he said to Zhu Suosuo, who was dressed in a red long dress next to him, with a graceful figure, a slender waist, a plump figure, and a beautiful face. Then let's go in. Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming with a hint of helplessness and disdain in his eyes. Although her heart was filled with various emotions, there was still a warm and gentle smile on her face. With a gentle and sexy tone, he said to Luo Jiaming, who was blushing in front of him. Today, her cousin Luo Jiaming said he wants colleagues to have a dinner together and wants her to pretend to be his girlfriend to support him. Originally, Zhu Suosuo did not want to agree. But when she thought that she was living with her uncle and aunt's house, which was considered a place of refuge, she could only reluctantly agree. Looking at Luo Jiaming with a blush on his cheeks and evasive eyes that dared not look at him, Zhu Suosuo's eyes were full of disappointment and disdain. In theory, it is easy for a man and a woman to develop feelings after being together for a long time. Luo Jiaming has developed feelings. Unfortunately, the Zhu lock is not available. Because Luo Jiaming is too cowardly. He is simply a living, typical mommy boy. This makes Zhu Suo Lock, who yearns for a high-quality life and wants to find a domineering CEO to spend the rest of his life, draw a big fork in his heart. A popular hot pot restaurant. Zhu Suosuo felt the burning gaze from countless men on his body, with a proud smile on his lips and disgust in his eyes. She has great confidence in her appearance and figure. The naked desires in the eyes of these men were completely disdainful to her, and even felt a bit disgusting. A two-story small building of a hot pot restaurant. On a wooden dining table, Luo Jiaming's male colleagues widened their eyes when they saw the graceful Zhu Lock in a red long dress. Next second, They suddenly felt a burning sensation in their lower abdomen, and their little brother at home was in awe. My throat couldn't stop swallowing a mouthful of saliva, and even my breathing began to become extremely hot. The women at the dinner table couldn't help but feel a bit insecure when they saw the appearance of Zhu Suo Suo. Looking at the virtues of the man next to me, I suddenly felt a surge of excitement in my heart. Natural skill. 360-degree muscle rotation. In an instant, the intense pain in the waist began to spread across several men. That pain even made them almost scream out in disregard of their image. But when they saw the sexy and charming Zhu Suo Suo, they surprisingly endured the pain and suppressed the howling that was originally almost on their lips. Come on, sit down, sit down. A fat man with curly hair and glasses saw Zhu Suosuo and Luo Jiaming walking towards this place. Quickly getting up, his eyes lit up and greeted Luo Jiaming and Zhu Suosuo. A pair of almost invisible little eyes squeezed by fat kept scrutinizing Zhu Suo's sexy body up and down, with an uncontrollable smile on the corners of his mouth. Hello, my name is Xiaohu, the tiger of the Northeast Tiger. Little Tiger extended a slightly plump little hand and said with a smile on his face. Hello. Zhu Suosuo looked disdainful in his eyes and politely shook his hand before quickly retracting it. After seeing this scene, the other men at the dinner table suddenly lit up and quickly got up, rushing to shake hands with Zhu Suo. Although Zhu Suosuo had a smile on his face, his eyes were filled with disdainful disgust and obvious disgust. Jiaming, your girlfriend is so beautiful. Why haven't you heard your kid say it before? You really keep it hidden. Xiao, who looked at Luo Jiaming with a lewd expression and jokingly said, a pair of lewd little eyes occasionally glancing at Zhu Suo. Thank you. Luo Jiaming's face was filled with shyness, and he lowered his head, answering softly in his voice. How did Luo Jiaming find such a beautiful girlfriend with such a bird-like appearance? What a flower stuck in cow dung. When I saw the picture of Luo Jiaming, this sentence almost became a monologue in the hearts of all the men at the dinner table. You just know how to look at someone else's girlfriend. Isn't your own girlfriend pretty? On the side, Little Tiger's girlfriend looked at Little Tiger's lewd gaze and attentive demeanor. Suppressing his anger and appetite, he pretended to be calm in his tone, but still looked at Little Tiger with a hint of obvious jealousy and asked. My boyfriend's eyes are almost popping out of his little eyes when he sees someone else's girlfriend, how could she not see it? Our wife must be beautiful. Everyone is beautiful. Xiaohu's expression was flustered. After quickly perfunctory sentences, he lowered his head and began to pick vegetables for his wife beside him. However, a pair of lewd eyes still occasionally scanned Zhu Suo. Locke, what do you do? At the dinner table, a supporting role wearing glasses who does not deserve a name smiled at Zhu Suosuo and asked. I am currently unemployed at home and looking for a job. Zhu Suosuo casually glanced at the man with glasses and casually replied in an indifferent tone. Yo, haven't you found a job yet? It's hard to find a job now. On the side, Xiaohu's girlfriend took advantage of the situation and looked at Zhu Suo with eyes that were about to get angry. Her words were full of sarcastic remarks. Xiaohu on the side quickly joked and changed the topic, saying, Jiaming, we've been waiting for you here for a long time. Why did you come here now? We have something to do at home, it's delayed. Luo Jiaming said without thinking, coupled with his dull and indifferent expression. Suddenly, the men at the dinner table were heartbroken, wishing to lift the table, pick up the wine bottle, and smash it at Luo Jiaming. How could such a beautiful woman be ruined by this idiot like Luo Jiaming? Lift the table, kill the dog, grab the lock. Although he was extremely jealous in his heart, Xiaohu still looked at Luo Jiaming curiously and asked. From home. Are you all cohabiting now? After Luo Jiaming finished speaking, he glanced awkwardly at Zhu Suo beside him, whose face was somewhat unsightly. Can't eat any more. Where did you get so many questions? We waited for them here for over half an hour, but they didn't even say anything. Xiaohu's girlfriend interrupted the conversation, her words filled with dissatisfaction and anger. Xiaohu quickly interrupted his girlfriend and said, "Cast a spell. Jiaming, take care of your girlfriend. You better take care of your girlfriend." On the side, Xiaohu's girlfriend said in a cold, dissatisfied voice. Zhu Suosuo glanced at the crowd, shook his head slightly, and a disdainful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Chapter 1 Transition. You can start reading directly from Chapter 2. Ensure satisfaction. Friends with flowers and tickets, please support us. Thank you, thank you. Chapter 2. Novice Rewards. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Jiaming took a sip of wine and suddenly felt a slight pain in his head. "Sorry, I'll go to the restroom first." After finishing speaking, Luo Jiaming stood up and ran straight towards the restroom. Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming with some concern, apologized to everyone, and quickly got up and chased after him. She looked at Luo Jiaming's appearance and was afraid that something might happen to him. After all, no matter what, he is also his own cousin. And she doesn't like these people at the table either, lazy to see where they compete and become jealous. The few people at the dinner table started discussing when they saw this. "Xiao He. You said that Luo Jiaming is not good in any way, right? He just drank a lot and quickly ran to the toilet." Xiaohu. "He, I think what you're saying is. Oh, my wife, don't pull my ear, it hurts." In the small compartment of the restroom, Luo Jiaming suddenly felt swelling all over his body and a severe pain in his brain. Touch. The next second, he exploded like a watermelon. Strangely, the clothes and blood seemed to be controlled by some force, floating quietly. Ding. Recycling in progress, successful recovery, obtaining platelet, hair information, biological information. We are rebuilding the body, body manufacturing completed. Start implanting the host soul. 3.2.1 Implantation successful. Start instilling memories. Cousin, are you okay? Outside the restroom, Zhu Lok glanced around and shouted inside when he saw no one around. "I'm fine, I'll be fine in a while. You go back to eat first." In the washroom, a Luo Jiaming who is exactly like Luo Jiaming shouts to the outside. Upon hearing this, Zhu Suosuo didn't think much and stood outside the restroom staring blankly at the scene inside the hot pot restaurant. She doesn't want to go back and continue to be scrutinized with aggressive eyes by Luo Jiaming's male colleagues. In front of the sink in the restroom, Luo Jiaming looked at himself in the mirror and touched his face in disbelief. "I didn't expect that I really traveled." Just now, Luo Jiaming was kidnapped by a competitor in another world. Competitors found 5 top beauties to take turns torturing him, resulting in his death. At the moment of death, he bound a mysterious system. And with the help of the system, I physically traveled to this world. However, all of this is not without a cost. The price is that the 5 beauties and the 2 black bodyguards guarding him suddenly evaporated from the human world. Ding. Successfully detected host binding, received newbie reward, and activated intimacy system. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving 10 million cash. A villa in the Eternal Mansion. Wine Spirit Body. Ding. Detected character. Zhu Suosuo, currently binding. Binding successful. Ding. If the intimacy between the host and the bound character reaches a certain level, rewards will be given. Listening to the sound in his mind, Luo Jiaming washed his face and looked at the transparent light curtain in front of him. Host. Luo Jiaming, attribute. 7. Sub-health. Constitution. Wine Spirit Body. The wine entering the body will automatically extract essence to strengthen the body. Item. 10 million cash withdrawal and transfer to host account. Wanshur Houting No. 1 Villa, a villa worth 60 million yuan, automatically transferred upon receipt, and property certificate issued. Binding character. Zhu Suo, 48/General Friend. The number after this character should be likability. Only 40.8, this one has a low level of favorability, but it's not surprising that it's just a Zhu Suo. Luo Jiaming looked at himself in the mirror and muttered to himself. Through the memories he gained, he discovered that he was actually traveling through a TV drama. Or that mommy boy who is extremely despised by Zhu Suo. Hey buddy, excuse me, I'll wash my hands. Outside the restroom. Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming walking out and felt that his temperament seemed different. Cousin, are you okay? Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming and asked with a hint of concern. I'm fine, I see you didn't take a few bites just now. Let's go back and have something to eat first. Luo Jiaming looked at the Zhu Suo, who was dressed in a red dress and had a slender waist but a plump figure, and his eyes were full of amazement. No wonder Luo Jiaming fell in love with her. Just this kind of beauty, I doubt if the original Luo Jiaming is not capable. Cousin. Zhu Suoluo's palm extended like condensed fat and shook before Luo Jiaming's eyes. What's wrong? Luo Jiaming, who had regained his senses, looked at a hint of disdain in Zhu Suosuo's eyes and shook his head with a smile. He used to be a successful businessman and had a night-out relationship with the actor who played Zhu Suosuo. To be honest, there's really no stunning Zhu Suo in front of me. Cousin, let's go back. Your colleagues will have to wait for a long time before they start acting weird again. Although I don't care, it's better for you to cultivate a good colleague relationship when you still have to work with them in the future. Zhu Suosuo smiled and said. Yeah. I need to cultivate good relationships among colleagues. After speaking, he directly took Zhu Suoluo's hand and walked towards the dining table. Zhu Suo, who was being held, was taken aback for a moment. He realized that he was about to struggle, but found that his hand seemed to be held by iron pliers and couldn't break free at all. Why did he suddenly become so bold? Zhu Suosuo looked at the back of Luo Jiaming's head, and couldn't help but feel puzzled in his mind. As soon as they returned to the dining table, they were mocked by the man with glasses. Jiaming, you haven't had much to drink. Why did you take so long to use the restroom? The other few people also looked at Luo Jiaming with a playful smile on their faces. Zhu Suosuo's face looked a bit ugly as he looked at Luo Jiaming beside him with a silly smile on his face. Although she doesn't like Luo Jiaming, at least she is also her cousin, making people joke like this without any reaction. Suddenly, Zhu Suosuo was somewhat disappointed with Luo Jiaming. It seems that he is still the silly and obedient mommy boy. I just drank too much water before coming. If you say that, I'll have to try your alcohol tolerance. I am a man in the industry who gave me the nickname Magic City Wine Prince. Luo Jiaming said to the man with glasses with a smile on his face, and a chill suddenly rose in his eyes. People always have to pay a price for what they have said. Originally, he had no intention of doing anything to these new colleagues, but now that they have come to him by themselves, no one can blame him. Jiaming. Zhu Lok reached his hand under the table and gently tugged at the corner of Luo Jiaming's clothes. Although I don't know why this cousin said such inappropriate things today, she doesn't want to carry Luo Jiaming home. New book launched. Ensure freshness, no word count, and fast pace. There are flowers, please get your tickets, ticket holders. Thank you. Chapter 3. I only used one success force. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Feeling the movement of Zhu Suo, Luo Jiaming's generous palm gently grasped her pure white and tender little hand, with a gentle and confident smile on his handsome face. It's okay, don't you know my strength yet? Zhu Suosuo was stunned by the words and wanted to talk roast, but when he thought about the exciting situation, he would rather not talk. Xiao He on the table, the man with glasses, and the little tiger next to him immediately felt unhappy when they heard Luo Jiaming's words. Although Luo Jiaming has just joined the company for a while, he doesn't seem like a person who can drink at all. Three men looked at each other, and the tacit understanding of their old friends made them understand each other's meaning. Damn it! Is the man with glasses the first to appear? Jiaming, if you say that to us, we won't accept it. Xiao He joined in the lively attack and said. That's right, Jiaming. I'm also known as the Little Prince of Beer. Why don't we have a comparison today? Xiao Hu appears to be comforting and persuading, but in reality, he arches the fire and says. Oh my, we're all colleagues. Drinking alcohol is all for the sake of enhancing relationships. Jiaming, if you can't drink, you can say it. We're all colleagues, and lying for the sake of face is not good. The man with glasses sneered and comforted on the side, saying. Yeah, Jiaming, if you can't drink it, you can skip it. It's all colleagues. Luo Jiaming looked at the combination punch of the three and shook his head, saying with a smile. The competition is okay, but it's all colleagues. That's it. I just joined the company and today's meal should be hosted by me. But since the three of you are so enthusiastic, I can't let you down, can I? Let's do it this way, whoever loses today will pay the bill, with a focus on enhancing relationships. Luo Jiaming looked at the three of them and smiled. Although his words were a sign of weakness, in fact, they were indeed cutting off the path behind the three of them. All of them are men, and they all have girlfriends. In such a situation, whoever loses and pays the bill is not money anymore. That's the dignity and face of men. Looking at Luo Jiaming's arrogant declaration of war, the three of them immediately glanced and said in unison. Waiter, serve the wine. 3 boxes first. Soon, 3 boxes of beer were brought over. 4 women were drinking while eating. Glasses man. Jiaming, don't even say we bully you. Okay, you drink 1 bottle, the 3 of us drink 1 bottle. Although the man with glasses is jealous and envious of Luo Jiaming, he doesn't want to make things worse. Besides, this kid looks like a nerd at first glance, probably 2 bottles will pour out. Xiao He said, that's right, Jiaming. You only need to drink 1 bottle, and the 3 of us will accompany you to drink 1 bottle. Xiao Hu. I'm following too. After scanning the 3 of them, Luo Jiaming smiled and said. Then I'll start. After speaking, he picked up a bottle of beer and poured it directly into his mouth. In less than 5 seconds, the beer bottle is empty. But Luo Jiaming just wiped his mouth contentedly, with a carefree expression as he watched the 3 of them smile. After drinking a bottle of beer, he could clearly feel that the alcohol entering his body instantly turned into a faint warm current, nourishing his body. Luo Jiaming's move shocked several people on the table and others who were peeking at the Zhu lock on the table. You should know that even if you pour a beer bottle onto the ground, it takes 4 to 5 seconds. Be good, this person seems to have nothing to do with him. Yeah, it looks like a bookworm. I didn't expect to drink so hard, not blushing or panting. The Zhu Suo Suo next to Luo Jiaming was also shocked by this scene. When did Luo Jiaming have this skill? Didn't he never drink alcohol? The man with glasses looked at each other and then lifted the bottle and started drinking. Their speed is much slower than Luo Jiaming, and each person took more than 10 seconds. Cut, these few people can't do it. Yeah, drinking so slowly, even slower than me. Although they drank a bit slowly, all 3 of them had a good tolerance for alcohol, so there were no adverse reactions. Glasses man. Jiaming, your alcohol tolerance is really good. Xiao He. Is it too early to say now? Xiao Hu. That's right. We only had 1 bottle, what's that? At most, it's just the amount of water we sprinkle. Luo Jiaming didn't say much while listening to the 3 of them. Just a disdainful smile silently rose from the corner of my mouth. I picked up a bottle of beer from the table and started pouring it into my mouth. It's still less than 5 seconds. A bottle of beer is empty. But what's different from the last time is that this time Luo Jiaming poured 3 bottles in one go. After finishing the drink, he licked his mouth still unsatisfied, savored it with relish, and then smiled and looked at the 3 people with ugly faces, saying, "The taste is good, it's your turn." The glasses man and the 3 of them looked extremely ugly, but they looked at each other and didn't say much nonsense. They just picked up the beer on the table and started drinking. The 3 girlfriends couldn't help but show a worried expression on their faces when they saw this, and their eyes were full of desire and hesitation. Although they are eager to intervene, they also know that this is a competition between men, and once they interfere, they will definitely be annoyed. "Xiaohu, why don't we just let it go? Anyway, everyone is a colleague, there's no need to argue over who's stronger or weaker." Xiaohu's girlfriend couldn't resist in the end and couldn't help but speak up to persuade Xiaohu. But Xiaohu pushed it away, picked up a bottle of beer, and started pouring it into his mouth. It's not a matter of money anymore. Now it's a matter of their dignity as men. This is a war of dignity. If they give up at this time, they will all be inferior in front of Luo Jiaming in the future. Moreover, there is such a beautiful woman as Zhu Suo watching here, they don't want to lose face. This time, it took nearly 2 minutes for the 3 of them to finish 3 bottles of beer. And there was a slight blush on my face. Luo Jiaming was just about to continue drinking, but was stopped by the man with glasses. "Cough cough, Jiaming. Although it enhances relationships, isn't it unfair for you to drink 1 and us to drink 3? Xiao He and Xiao who didn't speak, just silently looked at Luo Jiaming. The man with glasses is their representative. Although changing the rules like this would make them lose face, it's better than losing and losing face, right? How could you do this? It wasn't agreed just now. Our family drinks 1, you drink 3. Zhu Suosuo wanted to continue speaking, but was pulled by Luo Jiaming. The reason why he waited for Zhu Suosuo to say this before pulling her down was to make the 3 of them feel embarrassed, and thus hold a grudge against himself, cutting off their retreat once again. "Lock the lock, it's okay, it's all colleagues. Drinking and competing is just to strengthen the relationship. Since the 3 of you said that, let's follow the rules you said. I'll drink 1, you'll drink 3. After Luo Jiaming finished speaking, he directly picked up the beer on the table and started pouring it in less than a minute. It was a full 12 bottles of beer in his stomach. This scene shocked everyone present. Zhu Suosuo rubbed his eyes and stared carefully at Luo Jiaming. Is this still my cousin? He shouldn't have been taken away like in a novel, right? His alcohol tolerance is too abnormal. There are flowers in your hands, an old iron with tickets, please use your hands to make money. 2,000 flowers and 1 chapter. 30 evaluations plus 1 chapter. 10 monthly tickets plus 1 chapter. 1,000 rewards and 5,050 more. A 3,000-word chapter, never exceeding the word count. Chapter 4. Colleagues all enter the hospital. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The 3 people at the dinner table exchanged a glance and engaged in eye contact. Xiaohu. Is he a pervert who steps on a horse? Are you okay after drinking more than 10 bottles of beer? Xiao He. Otherwise, forget it. I feel like the 3 of us can't drink him together. Glasses man. What kind of discouraging words? How do you know if it's okay if you don't try? Do you want to bow your head when you see this kid in the future? Look at his girlfriend, then look at our girlfriend. Aren't you jealous? Aren't you jealous? Xiaohu. Damn it. I worked hard today. I must show my face in front of this beautiful woman. Xiao He. Otherwise, let them drink too. Maybe we can drink more and... He. I'd man. Try Luo Jiaming's alcohol tolerance again, and later find a way to make them start drinking too. Xiaohu. As soon as I see Luo Jiaming's girlfriend, I feel a burst of flames in my lower abdomen. Xiao he. Damn him. Drunk him, let's have a good time tonight. After some communication, the three of them reached an agreement. Pick up the beer on the table and start drinking. This time, the three of them only drank for 1 minute because they ran out of alcohol. Boss, give me 12 more boxes. Okay, come on. The boss standing on the side to join the fun quickly asked his staff to move the wine. They don't care if they drink to death, he only cares about making money and watching the fun. In no time, a few waiters each came back carrying a few boxes of wine. Wife, open the wine. Soon, beer spread all over the table. The three little tigers endured the discomfort in their stomachs and finally finished drinking 4 bottles of beer each. Hurry up and order some dishes to make a mat. The girlfriends of the three quickly picked up vegetables for them and said with concern. Jiaming, it's your turn. Xiao Hu looked at Luo Jiaming's relaxed face and said, his eyes still very obscene as he glanced at Zhu Suo. At this glance, Zhu Suosuo and Luo Jiaming both noticed. Although Zhu Suosuo had not undergone any human intervention and only treated his gaze as aggressive, Luo Jiaming beside him was too familiar with this kind of gaze. Dog thing, the woman who cares about me must teach you a lesson today. A faint chill appeared in his eyes, and after glancing at the three of them, he picked up the beer on the table and started drinking. This time, he deliberately slowed down the speed. I drank 6 bottles of wine for over 2 minutes. And after drinking it, my face turned ugly. This scene fell in the eyes of the three and immediately made them very happy. Xiao Hu. Finally, I see some hope. Glasses man. It looks like he's about to give up. We can't let him slip away like this. We need to find a way to get his girlfriend drunk too. Xiao He. Is this too much? Xiao Hu. You stand outside the door and give us a hand. Xiao He said, let's talk about it, how can we handle it? It's too late to say we've all drunk too much. Xiao Hu. That's right. My girlfriend has a problem with his girlfriend, and soon you'll stimulate her to start drinking too. Xiao He. I'll think of a way. After the eye contact between the three ended, each person also had 2 empty bottles in front of them. Xiao He glanced at Zhu Suo and smiled, saying. Jiaming, do you have such a good tolerance for alcohol? I believe your girlfriend can also drink quite well, right? Xiao Hu quickly took it over and said with a hint of alcohol in his mouth. That's needless to say, they all live together. Jiaming's alcohol tolerance must have been developed, unlike our families. What's wrong with me? The little tiger's girlfriend, who was originally worried, immediately turned ugly upon hearing this and asked in a cold voice. No, not really. I just casually said that. The man with glasses felt a bit embarrassed when he saw the atmosphere start, so he quickly spoke up to repair the wound. If you ask me, it's not interesting just for the 4 of us to drink, and we also neglected a few beautiful ladies. Why don't you also have some drinks? Anyway, today's party is just for fun. Xiao Hu's girlfriend picked up a bottle of beer directly after hearing the man with glasses and looked at Zhu Suo with a smile on her face. Sister Locke, since that's all we've said, we're a bit sorry for the atmosphere if we don't drink. What do you think? Upon hearing this, Zhu Suosuo suddenly felt a bit hesitant to dismount. While hesitating, the eyed man's girlfriend and Xiao He's girlfriend also began to speak up. There is an attitude of not drinking and looking down on them. Although Zhu Suosuo felt a bit helpless, he didn't refuse the thought that he had a good tolerance for alcohol. Not long after, 2 more empty wine bottles appeared in front of her. Okay. Jiaming, your girlfriend is indeed just like you, they are both cheerful people. Let's continue. The man with glasses had red eyes and spoke loudly. On the side, Xiao Hu and Xiao He also began to agree. Okay, let's keep going, but this time we'll have to take turns. I'll finish one and you'll have one. You have to give me some time, don't you? Looking at the ugly face of Luo Jiaming, the three of them seemed to see the dawn of victory and the joy of early morning. He repeatedly agreed to Luo Jiaming's request. As the people at the table drank more and more slowly, the guests in the hot pot restaurant also dispersed almost. Zhu Suosuo and the three women's eyes turned red at this moment, full of drowsiness and exhaustion. Even getting up to use the restroom feels a bit shaky. The three men with glasses looked increasingly uncomfortable, but even Luo Jiaming, who couldn't get drunk, felt like he was about to hallucinate. The three people now have difficulty even maintaining eye contact. Glasses man. Hiccup Jiaming, can you still drink? Xiao He. Why does it seem like a beach has appeared in front of me? Xiao Hu. There is also a group of beautiful women wearing bikinis running on it. Their faces are filled with youth and vitality, and their slender and powerful thighs are constantly beating hiccup. Luo Jiaming said, drink it, you guys probably can't do it, right? If you can't, just say it and buy the order and go home. Glasses man. Who said we can't do it? Drink drink. The man with glasses finished speaking and took a bottle of wine, wobbling and taking a few sips before falling to the ground. Luo Jiaming gave a cold glance at the six people who were feeling dizzy after drinking. He picked them up, his face and neck turned red, and Zhu Lok, whose eyes were bloodshot, walked downstairs. The cashier at the entrance of the hot pot restaurant on the first floor looked at Luo Jiaming, who was drunk and holding a red lock, with envy in his eyes. Little brother, have you finished drinking? If you finish, you can tell your friends to buy an order. I need to close now. Luo Jiaming walked unsteadily towards the outside, holding the Zhu Lok in his arms. Ghost, how much have you drunk? You can't even hear what you're saying. However, the boss did not stop Luo Jiaming either. He also knew about the bet made by the people at that table, and now it seems very obvious that the young man who just left won. The boss returned to the cashier, printed out the bill, and looked at the numbers on it. The previously tired drowsiness was suddenly swept away. Mom, this is going to be posted. There are flowers in your hands, an old iron with tickets, please use your hands to make money. 2,000 flowers and 1 chapter. 30 evaluations plus 1 chapter. 10 monthly tickets plus 1 chapter. 1,000 rewards and 5,050 more. A 3,000 word chapter, never exceeding the word count. Chapter 5. Everyone understands. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. He quickly ran up to the second floor with the bill in hand. As a result, I saw Xiaohu and Xiaohe hugging each other, and that scene was so eye-catching. They're not hallucinating, are they? The owner of the hot pot restaurant quickly dialed the ambulance number. If he drinks to death in his shop, it's a waste. Suddenly, his eyes swept over the eyed man on the ground. Be good. Pour foam. Pour foam. Hello, is there an ambulance? There's someone here who's drunk and frothy, and there are 5 others who have lost their minds while drinking. They probably have hallucinations. The hot pot restaurant owner who hung up the phone looked at the bill in his hand and began to worry. I'd rather not have the money, don't die in my store. On the early morning streets. Luo Jiaming looked at the crimson locks in his arms, with cheeks turning red like sleeping beauties, and couldn't help but swallow saliva. It seems that drinking too much alcohol can still have side effects. It's already early in the morning, so I definitely can't go home. I can't even enter the hotel without my ID card. Luo Jiaming stopped a taxi and got into the car with a red lock. Master, Eternal Mansion. After speaking, Luo Jiaming scanned the driver for 100 yuan. Ding. Received a deposit of 100 yuan. Alright, young man, make it steady, spit out 500 on the car. After the driver finished speaking, he stepped on the accelerator and drove towards the Eternal Mansion. 10 minutes later, at the entrance of the Eternal Mansion. Luo Jiaming stood at the door holding a zhu lock and heard a mechanical sound coming from the door. Ding! Welcome the homeowner's home. Wang Manni sends you the most sincere greetings and wishes you a happy life. With the sound of the door shaking, Luo Jiaming walked into the villa area of this magic city holding a zhu lock. Although it is a villa area, it is just a row of private villas. It looks just over 200 square meters. At the entrance of Villa number 1 of Wang Manni, Luo Jiaming pushed open the iron door of the villa with one hand, walked past it, and arrived at the door. As he placed his finger on the fingerprint reader on the door. With a bang, the door opened. The living room is a simple European-style decoration, with a property certificate placed on the table. Fortunately, the villa is not big, otherwise he would have had a hard time finding the bathroom and room. As soon as Luo Jiaming put Zhu Suo lock on the bed, she began to vomit. For a moment, the whole room was filled with the smell of alcohol and fishy smell. That bastard said that little fairy. Luo Jiaming held the zhu lock and helped her clean it briefly before taking it to the master bedroom. Fortunately, there are many rooms. If there were such a small place in the alley at home, it would probably be ruined. Looking at the vomit emitting a strong smell of alcohol and stench in front of him, Luo Jiaming turned around and walked out holding Zhu Suosuo. Out of sight, out of mind. Let's call the property management tomorrow morning to find someone to tidy up. Luo Jiaming threw the zhu lock onto the bed, but to her surprise, her hands were wrapped around Luo Jiaming's neck. For a moment, the gravity was imbalanced, and Luo Jiaming also fell down, suddenly feeling a soft sensation coming from his chest. Cough, I can't be someone worse than a beast. The next morning. Accompanied by a sun emitting golden light in the sky, it gradually rises. On the street, the busy 996 people who wake up early to prepare for work are already holding breakfast in one hand while rushing to the subway. Wang Manni number 1 villa. A slightly hot golden light shone through the window onto Zhu Suo Lock's face. The pain in her body and the burning sensation brought by the sunlight on her face made her unable to resist flipping over and opening her hazy eyes. However, when she opened her eyes and saw the scene before her, her whole body instantly froze. Ah! Luo Jiaming. Accompanied by a loud scream, Zhu Suosuo pulled up the blanket, wrapped himself up, and kicked the sleeping Luo Jiaming. Bang! Still asleep, Luo Jiaming suddenly felt a huge impact, followed by a sudden sense of suspension. Opening his eyes, Luo Jiaming suddenly realized that he was lying on the ground. And there was also a severe pain coming from my stomach. Take a closer look, I'll be obedient. A bright red footprint is prominently reflected on my belly. Luo Jiaming. I'm going to kill you. On the mattress of Shimengsi, the vermilion lock was wrapped in a white goose-down quilt, roaring vigorously. The pain from her body and the remaining fragments from last night's memory immediately made her understand what she had experienced. Luo Jiaming stood up on the carpet and rubbed the footprints on his stomach. If it weren't for drinking too much last night and improving my physique, I reckon this kick could have been sent away directly. Looking at the bed with staring eyes and biting teeth, I wished I could tear off my own vermilion lock. He touched the footprints on his stomach and said in a mournful tone. Are you trying to murder your husband and then have a feast? Luo Jiaming. You still have the face to say it. Don't you know what you did to me? You're my cousin. Zhu Suosuo is tired, but still clear and bright, like tears falling from the frame of the bright moon's eyes. Hey, don't talk nonsense. It's not related by blood. Luo Jiaming quickly spoke out. This problem is very serious, accidentally getting a river crab. Hee, Luo Jiaming, go to hell. Zhu Suosuo let out a loud roar, but the next second he lay on the bed in pain because he was involved in the wound. Are you okay? Watching the crimson lock creaking on the bed with a pink fist hammer, Luo Jiaming asked with lingering fear. You can tell with just one kick that Jian Yang is not an ordinary person. Ding! Detected that the host has completed the strategy, with a character intimacy of 63 when completed. Reward. 63 million yuan in cash, 1 space ring, 630 square meters, 100 times critical strike returns 2 million yuan in cash. Romantic couple sports car. 2 Aston Martin Vantage convertible versions, black and white color scheme, automatically stored in parking lot, key on table. Listening to the voice in his mind, Luo Jiaming was stunned for a moment, but then he didn't pay attention. But hurriedly arrived at Zhu Suosuo's side. I am a responsible man, and I will be responsible to you. Let me take you to the hospital. Listening to Luo Jiaming's urgent words, Zhu Suosuo's heart was moved and speechless. He gritted his teeth and endured the pain, saying, Are you toxic? What are you doing in the hospital for? Hurry up and help me pour out a cup of hot water. Okay, I'll go cook it now. Luo Jiaming got up and ran towards the kitchen. To be honest, this is his first time experiencing this kind of thing. In their past lives, those women didn't need him to worry at all. They would handle everything on their own. Perhaps it was influenced by the memory of the original Luo Jiaming, or it could simply be because Zhu Suo Suo looks good. He felt like he had feelings for the woman who could kick him out of bed with just one kick. There are flowers in your hands, an old iron with tickets, please use your hands to make money. 2,000 flowers and 1 chapter. 30 evaluations plus 1 chapter. 10 monthly tickets plus 1 chapter. 1,000 rewards and 5,050 more. A 3,000-word chapter, never exceeding the word count. Chapter 6. I quit. You are listening at novel full.audio. Add water and start boiling. Luo Jiaming, who placed water on the sink, ran to the bathroom, took a towel, washed it twice with the hot water from the faucet, and ran towards the room. When Luo Jiaming saw Zhu Suosuo curled up in a ball under the blanket, a hint of guilt and heartache flashed in his eyes. Very double standard, not suitable for men, not suitable for unattractive women, only suitable for beautiful women. Are you okay? I saw on my phone that if it's not cleaned up for the first time, it will leave you with sequelae. Let me help you first. Cough cough. Luo Jiaming raised the towel in his hand and smiled awkwardly twice. Zhu Suosuo's heart inexplicably felt a warm current and an extremely huge silence. You, give it to me, I'll do it myself. Suppressing the pain, Zhu Suosuo bit his silver teeth and said to Luo Jiaming. Isn't it said in the book that it only hurts for a while? Why am I still in such pain all night long? Damn it, Luo Jiaming. After handing the towel to Zhu Lok, Luo Jiaming went to the table in the living room and dialed the property management's phone number. Hello, this is Wancher Houting 24-hour property center. Do you have any needs? I need a female nanny to clean the room, and I also need a few sets of women's clothes in medium size. Okay, respected owner, do you have any requirements for the style and price of the clothes? The price range is a few thousand yuan, but the style is a bit younger. Okay, dear homeowner, the total cost of your nanny and errand expenses this time is 1,500 yuan. The clothes and receipts will be delivered to you by the nanny. Please make payment after signing for them. We have also prepared a delicate breakfast for you. Do you need any other service? No need. Okay, the nanny will arrive within half an hour. Wishing you a happy life, good health, and a family reunion. Please hang up the phone first. After hanging up the phone, Luo Jiaming couldn't help but feel that the property service attitude of this Wancher Houting is really good. In his past life, his own Sebi property even rented his villa worth billions of dollars to the production team as a filming venue. There is really no harm without comparison. In the room, Zhu Lok looked at the towel covered in blood in his hand with a complex expression on his face. As a materialistic woman, she understands very well what her capital is. But just early this morning, her only capital was taken away by that bastard Luo Jiaming. Bastard! I'm going to kill you. Ah ah. Luo Jiaming, who heard the cries outside, quickly ran into the house, only to see Zhu Suosuo holding a blood-stained towel and shouting with a ferocious expression. Don't take it too hard. You can't commit suicide. Luo Jiaming thought Zhu Suosuo had committed suicide when he saw the scene before him, so he quickly rushed forward. Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming rushing towards him with a bewildered and forced face, refusing. Bang! Ah! Luo Jiaming's action once again caused Zhu Suosuo's wound to burst open. Luo Jiaming! You bastard! I'm going to bite you to death. Zhu Suosuo angrily bit at Luo Jiaming, but his mouth was caught by his palm. Zhu Suosuo's snow-white teeth made a thump sound, like a piranha seeing its prey. What are you doing? You have bad breath from not brushing your teeth in the morning, don't you know? I'll boil water for you and wash towels for you, and you're still biting me. How dare you say I have bad breath? I'm going to fight you. Ah! Zhu Suosuo was about to launch an attack but was embraced by Luo Jiaming. Well behaved, I've already said I'll take responsibility for you. You're either going to kill me or bite me to death. Do you really want to have a banquet, right? You don't have to take responsibility for me, you're not my dish. Zhu Suosuo said arrogantly, wanting to break free from Luo Jiaming's embrace but realizing that he couldn't move at all. You let me go. Luo Jiaming, let me tell you, nothing happened last night. You continue to be your mommy boy, and I will continue to look for my domineering CEO. Let's not delay anyone. I'll just pretend to have been bitten by a mosquito. What mosquito can take such a big bite? Has it mutated? Can your focus be normal? What is mosquito mutation? Do you believe that I will mutate and bite you now? Okay, the mosquitoes haven't mutated. You can lie in bed for a while longer. I'll go out and buy you some anti-inflammatory drugs. Someone will come to clean the room later, so stay in the room and don't go out until I come back. Listening to Luo Jiaming's words, Zhu Suosuo stopped struggling and stared blankly at the man in front of him who had known him for many years. Okay, you go ahead. No, I don't need to go. I'll make a phone call. Hey, yes, it's me. I also need an anti-inflammatory medication. I'll just pay the runner directly, okay? Alright, someone will bring the anti-inflammatory medicine later. You can rest well in bed. When you feel better, I will take you out to eat delicious food to supplement it. Where is this? Is it a hotel? Zhu Suosuo scanned the layout of the room and asked curiously as he looked at Luo Jiaming. Listening to Zhu Suosuo's inquiry, Luo Jiaming was stunned for a moment. I and Zhu Suosuo almost live together every day, and they are both very familiar with each other. I can't tell her that this is a system reward, can I? My friends, yes, my friends. Last night it was too late and I couldn't go home. I didn't bring my ID card, so I had to come and stay for a while. Friend. When did you meet such friends? Zhu Suosuo looked curiously at Luo Jiaming. Nonsense, you usually don't bother to talk to me, how could you possibly know? So you don't have to go to work with me today. Going to work. Upon hearing this, Luo Jiaming immediately remembered the 6 colleagues who were drunk last night. When I opened the company group, it exploded. 5 mild alcohol poisoning cases, 1 alcohol poisoning case. Ding ling ling. The caller ID is Mr. Wang. Luo Jiaming hung up his phone directly. Just as I was about to reply to him on my phone, I saw a message from him. Mr. Wang. What happened to you guys last night? Why did you all drink and go to the hospital? Also, why did you hang up on my phone? You don't want to do it anymore. Luo Jiaming. I'm not sure about anything, and by the way, I'm not doing it anymore. Mr. Wang was stunned for a while in the office, and just as he was about to send a message to question Luo Jiaming, he found out that the kid had deleted himself. It's against you. Is it the boss of your company calling? Why didn't you answer? Aren't you afraid he'll fire you and then your aunt will scold you? Are you afraid? Luo Jiaming seems to be asking Zhu Suosuo, but in fact, he is asking about his own memories in his body. That massive memory was suddenly crammed into his mind by the system, causing him to receive some influence himself. Don't be afraid, after all, you can't always be the flower in the greenhouse, can you? Do you seem different from before? What's different? I can't explain it clearly, but it just feels different. Zhu Suosuo shook his head and said in a daze. She felt that Luo Jiaming had changed, but she didn't know where it was. There are flowers in your hands, an old iron with tickets, please use your hands to make money. 2,000 flowers and 1 chapter. 30 evaluations plus 1 chapter. 10 monthly tickets plus 1 chapter. 1,000 rewards and 5,050 more. A 3,000-word chapter, never exceeding the word count. Chapter 7. The Weeping Zhu Lock. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. Ding. Accompanied by a ringing doorbell, Luo Jiaming stood up and helped Zhu Lock cover the blanket before walking towards the door. Looking at Luo Jiaming's back, Zhu Suosuo, who was huddled in bed, felt a strange emotion for some reason. Do you like it? She quickly shook her head. I'm looking for a wealthy and domineering CEO, so I can't leave it here. When I think of the life I have lived since childhood. Zhu Suosuo quickly shook his head, wanting to shake those thoughts out of his mind. She doesn't want to live a life of dependence anymore, she doesn't want her child to be like herself, taking care of all the household chores at the age of 8. She doesn't want her children to face parents who argue over daily necessities every day. Outside the house. When Luo Jiaming opened the door, he saw a middle-aged woman wearing work clothes. She was holding several large bags and several small bags in her hand. Dear property owner, hello. I am the nanny of Wancher Housing Property. Here are the clothes and anti-inflammatory drugs you need, as well as the exquisite breakfast we have given you as a gift. Please come in. The nanny placed the bag on the table and took out a check and a payment code from the big bag. Here is the cost, please take a look. Luo Jiaming received the check but did not find the money for anti-inflammatory drugs. The nanny seemed to have seen Luo Jiaming's expression, her voice soft, and a smile on her face as she said. The anti-inflammatory drugs are a gift from us to you, there is no need for additional charges. Upon hearing this, Luo Jiaming didn't say much and directly scanned the code to make the payment. May I ask which room you need to clean? Luo Jiaming pointed to the bedroom where Zhu Suosuo vomited last night. Good. The nanny finished speaking and walked towards the door. In no time, she walked in with a complete set of tools and started cleaning the room. Luo Jiaming put the property certificate and 2 car keys on the table into the space ring he had just obtained, then carried his clothes, medicine, and breakfast and walked towards the house. Why did you buy so many things? Crimson Lock, curled up in bed, looked at the big and small bags carried by Luo Jiaming and asked. You vomited all over last night, and I threw away that dress for you. I might as well buy you a few new sets. Did you buy underwear? Underwear. Luo Jiaming, who was taking things out of the bag, was stunned for a moment and shook his head awkwardly. You. It's here. When Luo Jiaming was taking clothes out, he found not only women's and men's underwear, socks, but also a set of men's clothing inside. Although it only looks like a few hundred yuan, it's not too expensive. Didn't you say you didn't buy it? Is it fun to tease me? Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming with a gloomy expression and asked. Should I help you put it on? How about dying to the side? When Zhu Suosuo picked up his clothes, he happened to see the hang tag. 5989.6357.4875.6589, you're crazy. Zhu Suosuo looked at the price on the hang tag and exclaimed in surprise. She originally thought that Luo Jiaming had only bought a few hundred yuan worth of clothes, but now it has skyrocketed to tens of thousands of yuan. What's wrong? There are bugs on the clothes. Luo Jiaming watched Zhu Suosuo's reaction and quickly picked up his clothes to start checking. However, after checking for a long time, there was nothing left. Luo Jiaming. Where did you get so much money? These clothes add up to 30,000 yuan. Zhu Suo frowned as he looked at Luo Jiaming. She is quite clear about the financial situation of this cousin. Although relatively wealthy, I definitely can't come up with so much money. I earned it by writing novels. Writing a novel. Are you sure you're not lying to me? I see that they only earn a few hundred yuan at most when writing novels in a month. How come you earn so much? Although he was still skeptical in his heart, Zhu Suosuo did not continue to inquire. But he folded the clothes and put them back in the bag. Take it and return it. You can return the hang tag without taking it off. Why return it? Don't you like it? It's too expensive. It's not a small expense for you. I don't want my aunt to scold me when she finds out, and I don't need to wear such expensive clothes as it would be uncomfortable. But it feels quite comfortable to touch. Are you a fool? I feel heartbroken even if I damage such expensive clothes when I wear them. Take them back and return them quickly. Zhu Suosuo waved his hand and urged. She worships money, but she also has the minimum standards and bottom line. We can't refund now. After Luo Jiaming finished speaking, he tore off the hanging tags on his clothes one by one. No, are you sick? What about more than 30,000 yuan? What can't you do? Zhu Suosuo said anxiously. If spending 30,000 can make you happier, I don't mind spending countless more 30,000. I'm not happy at all. This is not something your level can afford to spend. If you want me to be happy, just stay away from me and never bother me again. I don't need you to spend a lot of money to make me happy. Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming with some excitement, his eyes turning red and shouting. Perhaps Luo Jiaming really likes her, but she cannot accept that she will spend her whole life with daily necessities, even if there is love. Drinking enough water with emotions is deceitful. She will never live a life where she is powerless due to money again. Never. Looking at Zhu Suosuo, who was emotionally excited in front of him, Luo Jiaming didn't speak, just silently hugged her. Perhaps as long as he tells her that he has money, a lot of money, she won't be sad or cry. We have no results, forget about me, okay? Find a girl who likes you and you also like, and live a simple life together. Zhu Suosuo lay in Luo Jiaming's arms and said with a choked tone. Just treat us as if nothing had happened. The water is boiling, I'll go pour you some water. Luo Jiaming rubbed Zhu Suosuo's head and said softly in a warm voice. There are flowers in your hands, an old iron with tickets, please use your hands to make money. 2,000 flowers and 1 chapter. 30 evaluations plus 1 chapter. 10 monthly tickets plus 1 chapter. 1,000 rewards and 5,050 more. A 3,000-word chapter, never exceeding the word count. Chapter 8. There are millions of ways to die, and immortality is the most unique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay. Zhu Suosuo looked at Luo Jiaming's back and thought to himself whether he should go back and pack his luggage and move into his good friend Nansun's house for a period of time. After all, what is happening between the two of them now? If they still live under the same roof, it is easy to produce chemical reactions. If I really don't control my love brain by then, my life will be ruined. In the living room, Luo Jiaming, who was pouring water, turned around and glanced at the room where Zhu Lok was located. He is going to tell Zhu Suosuo that he bought this house himself later. If Zhu Suosuo is willing to follow him from now on, he won't mind accepting a vase that can be used for flower arrangement. But if Zhu Suosuo didn't choose to be a vase from now on, he wouldn't stop him either. After all, a woman who has the ability to work for herself and is also good-looking is far more likable than a vase with only one type of mouth. As for the temptations encountered in the middle. In his past life, Luo Jiaming was able to become a boss with a net worth of several billion yuan not only by eating other people's leftovers in his own right. As long as someone dares to reach out, they will cut off both hands and arms together. After all, accidents happen constantly in this world every day, and every second someone is killed by anti-social personalities who retaliate against society due to car accidents, gas poisoning. There are countless ways of accidental death, and there is always one that is tailored for you. In the room, Luo Jiaming looked at Zhu Suosuo, who was drinking water, and chose to have a showdown. "Look, actually this house belongs to me." "I know, you rented it, right?" "Actually, I know if you don't say it, after all, your personality is basically not willing to make friends with you, and making friends is just superficial. It's impossible to lend you such a good house." After Zhu Suosuo finished speaking and looked at Luo Jiaming's strange expression, he suddenly realized that his venomous tongue skill had been activated involuntarily. "Cough cough, don't take it to heart. Actually, you are quite a good person. There are actually many things about you, such as being honest and—" Zhu Suosuo pondered for a while but never thought of the second one. "What I want to tell you is that I have the ability and will also love you well. Are you willing to give me a chance? I know you have the ability, but I can't possibly rent a house with you for the rest of my life, can I? And we will have to have children in the future, our children will have to go to school, and buying milk powder. Regardless of which, it will be millions of times more difficult than renting this house. And my aunt won't agree to our matter. I'll just say that, let's just pretend that nothing happened to us. I won't tell my aunt when I go back later that you're renting a house outside. I'll take my luggage and stay at Nansun's house for a while. I think we both need to give each other some time to calm down." "Okay." Luo Jiaming simply answered directly. The three elements of a scumbag are not proactive, not responsible, and not wearing. Mainly to revive his life, and even with such a system, he doesn't want to be bound by life before fully enjoying it. Ah! Zhu Suosuo looked at the suddenly clean Luo Jiaming for a moment, feeling a bit disappointed in his heart, and cursed inwardly. "Dead scumbag, I gave it to you for the first time. You don't want to take responsibility." Although she felt a bit disappointed in her heart, her face still had that arrogant and confident look on it. "Then let's make a deal. Let's just pretend that this never happened in the future. Cousin, do you want me to help you change clothes? Go to hell with you." In the afternoon, in the attic of Jiang Nansun's small Western-style house, Zhu Suosuo and Jiang Nansun, dressed in thin silk pajamas, were lying on the bed chatting. "Are you talking about the two of you?" Jiang Nansun covered his mouth and widened his eyes as he looked at Zhu Suosuo. He asked with a shocked expression on his face. "Mm." Zhu Suosuo lay on the bed, his hand supporting his face, looking at the small window in the attic, swinging a pair of clean white, slender long legs. Lock, what kind of relationship do you have with him in the future?" "I don't know either. That's why I moved out of my aunt's house to join you." Zhu Suosuo hugged Jiang Nansun and said with a smile on his face. "Oh, don't make a fuss. When you were there, how did you feel?" Jiang Nansun looked at Zhu Suosuo with a curious expression, his eyes filled with a young girl's thirst for knowledge about unknown things. I drank too much at the time and didn't feel anything, it just felt very painful." "Oh, why are you asking this? Go find your home, Zhang Anren. Don't ask me." Zhu Suosuo blushed and pushed Jiang Nansun away, bulging his mouth and saying. "Oh, Locke, isn't that what I'm asking? Besides, you know I wouldn't do that kind of thing with him before we got married. So what are you doing? It's something ordinary couples do. Holding hands or something like that." Didn't he want to do that to you? Zhu Suosuo widened his eyes as if he were of the same age, and looked at Jiang Nansun curiously jokingly. Yes, but they were all rejected by me. My mother told me not to be easily obtained by men, otherwise they will turn their backs and not recognize anyone. After Jiang Nansun finished speaking, he realized that there was another one beside him and quickly wanted to explain. Look, I'm not saying you. It's okay, we're good friends. I know you're not talking about me, but to be honest, Nansun, I feel like Auntie is right. Zhu Suosuo said to Jiang Nansun with a look of agreement on his face. What's wrong? You've been abandoned from beginning to end. He's such a scumbag, I must fight for justice for you. Jiang Nansun said angrily. Oh no, it's not. He initially said several times that he was responsible to me, but I didn't agree. I think our relationship. Oh, you understand, and he's not the one I like. So what kind of thing do you like? A wealthy and domineering CEO. At the very least, I need to be able to make sure that I no longer have to work hard for my life and the daily necessities of my family. Let's argue like that every day. I don't want to live my whole life in a small room, with firewood, rice, oil, salt, soy sauce, vinegar, and tea every day, being smoked and burned, and having children and being tortured by them. Whenever I think of that scene, I feel chilly all over. Why does it really seem a bit cold? I opened the window. There are flowers in your hands, an old iron with tickets, please use your hands to make money. 2,000 flowers and 1 chapter. 30 evaluations plus 1 chapter. 10 monthly tickets plus 1 chapter. 1,000 rewards and 5,050 more. Chapter 9. Does your chicken have a production license? You are listening at novelfull.audio. What are you going to do later? Jiang Nansun leaned against Zhu Suosuo's embrace. Close your eyes and ask. I'll stay with you for a while first. I'll rent a house when I find a job. You won't mind me driving me away, will you? Oh no, I don't know. I wish you were at our house every day. So my dad won't keep urging me to go on blind dates with those wealthy young masters and greasy CEOs. Zhang Anren has been sulking with me lately. Why? Just because your dad arranged for you to trust your parents. But that's not what you want. Oh, it's okay. I quite like his jealous appearance. Jiang Nansun said with a happy expression on his face. You're just being burned out by love. If the person from last night had been you. I reckon you've already fallen. How could it be, I wouldn't know. How dare you say that to me? Humph, eat me with all your heart. For a moment, the small attic was filled with fragrance and spring light. At night, in the brightly lit Shanghai, a bar is enveloped by the smell of perfume. It seems that no matter what level of bar, perfume can't escape. Luo Jiaming watched as various lights flickered in front of him. The scene of various cool-dressed beauties dancing in the center of the dance floor. But there was no interest in his eyes. He had originally planned to come here to experience the kind of pleasure that he had never experienced in a long time, such as being surrounded by lights, wine, and extravagance. But upon seeing this scene, he suddenly shrank back a bit. Do these chickens have a production qualification certificate and health examination standards? Shouldn't they have contracted chicken flu? In a luxurious booth at the bar. Chu Xiaoxiao, who has just returned from studying abroad, is sharing her happiness of returning to China with her friends. You don't know, foreign food tastes so bad. They roast turkey, they can't even pluck the feathers clean, eat a mouthful of fur. And those Chinese dishes from abroad are all selling dog meat with sheep's heads hanging on them. There's not a single authentic one. Where to bake cold noodles? I actually used a stove to bake noodles on top of it, and I watched him take them out of the refrigerator with my own eyes. Passerby Xiao, are you exaggerating yourself? Alright, don't dwell on this issue. Anyway, congratulations to our General Chu for completing his closed-door cultivation and returning with a complete set of sunflower treasure divine arts. This must be celebrated. Wearing his hat in reverse and dressed in a trendy style, Yao Bin raised his glass and loudly said to the crowd. Yeah. Xiao Xiao, congratulations on your return. We must stay drunk today. After a round of toasting, Chu Xiao Xiao, whose face was slightly tipsy, suddenly noticed that the scene not far away was completely different from the bustling scene at the bar, with Luo Jiaming drinking alone. What a handsome bookworm. Chu Xiao Xiao looked at Luo Jiaming, who looked like a bookworm but had an inexplicable aura, like a noble young master. Her eyes were almost out of sight. Xiao Xiao, what are you looking at? On the side, a girl wearing a white dress, long hair, and a pretty face approached Chu Xiao Xiao with slightly red cheeks, and asked in a drunken tone. Did you see the handsome little guy sitting over there? Chu Xiao Xiao pointed to Luo Jiaming, who was sitting in a nearby booth drinking, and asked her friend beside her. That one. The one wearing glasses. I don't feel how handsome he is. Xiao Xiao, you probably haven't been abroad for a long time. Did you see that hometown cuisine comes with filters? Fuck you, seriously, don't you really think he's handsome? Chu Xiao Xiao looked at the long-haired girl seriously and asked. The girl with long hair looked carefully for 2 seconds before shaking her head. I really didn't see anything different about him, Xiao Xiao. You shouldn't be interested in him. You're planning to become the head chef again and try the dishes, right? Humph, you're right. Miss, I really have this idea, but I have to handle it. Chu Xiao Xiao said arrogantly. The girl with long hair beside her flashed a hint of displeasure in her eyes when she saw this. Chu Xiao Xiao has always been among them as the eldest sister. But the reason why she can have this position among them as a wealthy second generation. It's not all thanks to Yao Bin, the trendy and big-licking dog. Almost everyone among them knows that Yao Bin likes Chu Xiao Xiao. But it's really strange. This Chu Xiao Xiao just doesn't like Yao Bin. Yao Bin is the same guy. He can handle other women with ease, and 3 days of home runs are the norm. But when he faced Chu Xiao Xiao, he seemed to have lost his soul and transformed into a pure and true love for a beautiful young man. My heart belongs only to you, my princess. I dare neither this nor that, it makes people look anxious. Long-haired girls have a good impression of Yao Bin. Qingben beauty, how can you be a thief? Unfortunately, Yao Bin treated her emotions as dust and didn't care at all. Stubborn on the thief road of Chu Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao, why don't we give it a try? The girl with long hair tidied up her white dress and looked at Chu Xiao Xiao confidently. She is very confident, her appearance is not much worse than Chu Xiao Xiao's, but her personality is not as bold as hers, and her capital is not as huge as hers. But her face is pure and innocent. 2 major hobbies in a man's life. Persuade the courtesan to return to secular life and find an honest person to take over. Take good girls into the pit. Bathing, foot therapy, and health care are all high incidence areas for dungeons. Competition. What is the competition about? Chu Xiao Xiao looked at the long-haired girl in front of her and asked in confusion. Beat him. The girl with long hair pointed to Luo Jiaming on the card seat and said with a smile. He. What comparison does he have? Who is the first to serve before us? What I mean is that we should go strike up a conversation together and see who he chooses. The girl with long hair flicked her hair and confidently said. At this point, Chu Xiao Xiao has also reacted. It seems that these sisters are here to cause trouble. There was a hint of displeasure in her eyes, but she didn't say anything more. She returned to China this time to retrieve what she had lost with her own hands. And these people will all be her support. Moreover, the 2 of them were just jealous and not a big deal. At this strategic juncture, she won't let her small temper get her way. Okay, why don't we just have a competition and see who can take him down first? But since you said it's a competition, why don't we add some excitement? Xu Xiaoxiao smiled and said. Although she cannot openly turn her back, a little painful lesson still needs to be given. Kaitu, what kind of kaitu? On the side, Yao Bin, who had just sent the two wealthy second-generation drinkers out and returned, approached them and asked curiously. It's nothing, this younger sister wants to compete with me. Since it's a competition, of course there should be some good results. Xu Xiaoxiao's words directly lowered the status of the girl in white. Of course, she didn't think of this. In her opinion, she is the eldest sister and calling her younger sister is normal. After all, education abroad teaches you how to become a useful livestock that can serve capitalists and contribute to society in a straightforward manner. Unlike Confucian culture, which always emphasizes the importance of boiling frogs in warm water and the ideological struggle of water dripping through stones. Competition. What are you two competing for? Do you drink alcohol? Yao Bin also has some impression of girls with long hair. Besides, they are jealous because they eat it themselves. I can't just turn my back on myself. Let's say, this is the woman of the king. What qualifications do you, a lowly servant, have to compete with her? Someone, drag her down and chop her. He is a big licking dog. But he's not mentally disabled. This kind of thing that causes great harm to the relationship between both parties, and is close to turning a blind eye, he cannot do it. The reason why he has today's status is not only because of his background, but also because he is very smooth in dealing with people. There are flowers in your hands, an old iron with tickets, please use your hands to make money. 2,000 flowers and 1 chapter. 30 evaluations plus 1 chapter. 10 monthly tickets plus 1 chapter. 1,000 rewards and 5,050 more. Chapter 10. Wearing glasses adds even more contrast. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Compared to drinking. Xiaobinzi, are you joking? Everyone present today is counting one by one, really compared to drinking. Which one is my opponent? Xu Xiaoxiao looked at Yao Bin confidently and said. Yes, my Miss Chu, you are our top wine god in Shanghai. Alright, you are the most amazing. But it's not like drinking. What do you guys compare to? Otherwise, take me for it as a competition question, Yao Bin said to Xu Xiaoxiao with a mischievous smile on his face. Yao Bin, you're a bit unfair. Isn't this cheating? Everyone in our circle in Shanghai knows that your child has a special fondness for Miss Chu and will never rest until death. I think you're claiming benefits for yourself. That's right, I think it's actually good to use me as a benchmark project. In the booth, a few wealthy second-generation people who had some flushed cheeks and bloodshot eyes joked. The long-haired girl next to Xu Xiaoxiao looked at everyone jokingly teasing Yao Bin and Xu Xiaoxiao, and a hint of displeasure flashed in her eyes. But she didn't vent her anger towards everyone, after all, she wasn't stupid, and there was no need for a bunch of wealthy second-generation people to be jealous of her reputation. But after all, there was resentment in her heart, so when talking to Xu Xiaoxiao, her tone also carried a hint of oppression and sharpness. Xiaoxiao, since you propose to add a headdress, can you tell me what to use as a headdress? The long-haired girl looked at Xu Xiaoxiao with a slightly unkind tone and said. Yao Bin's eyebrows furrowed slightly on the side, wanting to speak up to ease the relationship between the two, but was pushed back by Xu Xiaoxiao's gaze. Xu Xiaoxiao looked at the long-haired girl with a hint of resentment on her face before her and chuckled softly, okay, then I'll bring it up. Didn't I just buy a house in the Happy Song community? Otherwise, if you lose, you'll have to pay for the renovation. Xu Xiaoxiao borrowed money to buy a house in the Happy Song community in order to create a strong female image in front of her father. The money for decoration and buying a house was raised by Yao Bin and others. Xu Xiaoxiao just wanted to teach the little girl in front of her a lesson, so she only mentioned the cost of decoration. Okay. If I lose your renovation money, I'll have to pay for it. Just treat it like a gift from you to celebrate your move to a new home. When the girl with long hair saw that everyone in the booth looked at her, she could not continue to be aggressive. She pretended to be a good sister and said jokingly, "These wealthy second-generation people are not fools, so naturally they cannot do things completely. Whether it's winning or losing, at least both of them have a step down, so we can continue to share resources in the future. After all, this society is ultimately a society where interests are paramount. Thank you in advance, then." Xu Huanshan blinked her delicate and translucent eyes and said with a smile, "Xu Huanshan, they are so generous, your reputation cannot be weakened." A wealthy second-generation who was a bit drunk and didn't mind the big deal shouted on the side, "Okay. Then I'll." Xu Huanshan thought for a moment. It seemed like she really didn't have much to show off. Suddenly, her eyes lit up. Isn't this woman fond of Yao Bin? As Yao Bin's elder sister, it's good to help him find a good marriage and save him from thinking about himself in the future. If I lose, Yao Bin will accompany you on a date. Xu Huanshan pulled Yao Bin over and stared at the long-haired girl with bright eyes, saying. Yao Bin, who was pulled over, looked bewildered and said, "No, Miss Chu, what's wrong with you two compared to IVF? Why are you still using me as a bargaining chip?" "Alright, Xiaobinzi, I'm doing this for your own good. You see, she looks pretty good too. I'm giving you a red thread when you're old that month. What's wrong with you?" Before Yao Bin could refute her, Xu Huanshan looked at the girl with long hair. "How's it going? Are you satisfied with this headdress?" The girl with long hair nodded with a smile, and the decoration fee was only a few 100,000 yuan. It was nothing to her, but Yao Bin was more important. "Okay, then let's make a deal." "You can't go back on your word then." The long-haired girl seemed to say something to Xu Huanshan, but in reality, her eyes were fixed on Yao Bin. "Don't worry, as long as you win, I promise Yao Bin will go on a date with you, right?" Xu Huanshan looked at Yao Bin with a smile on her face and asked. "Ah. Yes, I definitely won't go back on my word." On the bar stand. Originally drinking and browsing through various styles, Luo Jiaming suddenly saw two girls with vastly different styles walking ahead. A mature and sexy person, apart from being shorter, but those two bright headlights are really dazzling. If I change into school uniform. Cough cough, I'm a serious person, definitely not an old slut. Another one is wearing a white dress, although the hardware is relatively weak, the advantage lies in the decent height, coupled with pure makeup, like First Love. If you put on glasses, it would be absolutely amazing. It's extremely contrasting. Although his mind was full of thoughts and images were heavy, his face looked plain, even with a hint of shyness. Hunters often appear in the form of prey. This creates a stark contrast. "Oh yeah. Little handsome guy, are you alone? Do you want my sister to accompany you for a drink?" Xu Huanshan sat next to Luo Jiaming and looked at the shy little man in front of her, her eyes full of desire to conquer. It is said that men are lascivious, but women are not. Especially when facing such shy bookworms with a hint of immaturity. Don't be too attractive. Just now, due to the distance of the person standing, the lights in the bar were dim. It wasn't until Xu Huanshan sat next to her that Luo Jiaming realized that this woman looked a bit familiar. Isn't this the female character from the TV series? Is there more than one world I've traveled through? Before Luo Jiaming could finish his thoughts, a girl with long hair who looked like her first love sat beside him. "Little brother, don't you mind my sister being with you?" Hiss, there's something about this sound. I. There was a slight blush on Luo Jiaming's cheeks, which looked particularly charming under the dazzling lights. Seeing Luo Jiaming's shy appearance, Xu Huanshan's eyes suddenly burst with a burst of brilliance. The domestic and foreign ones are different. They are bold, open, and have a unique flavor. The girl with long hair beside her couldn't help but have a thought-provoking expression in her eyes when she saw this. Perhaps it was the effect of alcohol, or perhaps it was the pleasure of facing prey. Her gaze towards Luo Jiaming couldn't help but carry a hint of autumn waves. Self-understanding, easy for river crabs. In an instant, the two girls who were originally quite opposed to each other suddenly glanced at each other and saw the wariness in their eyes. Whoever drinks him down first belongs to him. Who's afraid of who? If you have the ability, come on. The subsequent plot will be even more exciting, please wait and see. The humble author seeks flowers and tickets. Dear Yanzu, who have a long and winding waist, please smash me with the flowers and tickets in your hands to your heart's content.